Oh my god, hi! It's my favorite people, like the 5, 6, 7. Oh my god. Anyway, welcome back to my channel, guys. This is gonna be a quick little vid. I just wanted to check in because, like I said, I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna be back consistently, and some of these videos might just be yap sessions, I'm not gonna lie. Podcast vibes, I don't know. My favorite kind of content to watch or listen to are things that I can listen to while doing stuff like doing the dishes, going on my hot girl walks, all that, whatever. But I just wanted to come in here and just kind of talk about like this topic of just like showing up for yourself even though you don't feel like it and you've lost hope and like you feel like nothing is worth it anymore. Just showing up anyway, even when you don't want to, even when you don't feel like anything has gone right in your life for you to show up. I know about that stuff firsthand because I've experienced that plenty. Like, for example, today I'm in my luteal phase. If you're a girl, you know. Or just like not feeling 100%, feeling like the same workouts I typically do feel even harder to do. And today that was very much the case. Like yesterday I didn't even work out. I was so like I started like my little Pilates video and like I just had like after like I think like 5 minutes in I just like fucking stopped. I just turned that shit off and then I got up and I like moved on with my day. But yeah, I ran today for 23 minutes and 40 seconds, damn near 24 minutes in 89 feeling like 95-degree weather. I run where it's like really, really shaded. But the fact that I did that, and mind you, before I even did that, I did a 30-minute Pilates video that I paused like every 2 minutes. Really, I really wanted to talk about today, like my whole point of getting on here was talking about just doing the things you don't want to do. When I tell you I did not want to do that workout, especially yesterday, I woke up today, I did not feel any different from yesterday, but it was like, okay, I already skipped yesterday, and I think I heard some fitness person once say like, try not to go more than a day or two like without working out because you really lose momentum, and momentum is the name of the game. That's also why I'm showing up here today. One thing that I've learned about consistency and just wanting to be more consistent is you don't want to lose your momentum. Even if you only show up 20%, 10%, 30%, half, 50%, I feel like, yeah, it's not my best, and I used to feel like if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it as perfectly as possible, and I just realized that's holding me back because honestly, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be recording right now if I was worried about this video being perfect. I'm in between jobs. So it's like I was supposed to go delivery driving like right now, but I was like, can I spare 20 minutes just to come on here and at least be consistent and just show up? Being consistent and showing up when you don't want to or when you don't feel like you have it in you, because doing that run in that 89-degree weather, mind you, I go again, heavily shaded treed area. I actually run in a cemetery, but it's like the most beautiful cemetery ever. Like not on no goth shit. I mean, I love my goth bitches, goth boy clique. Go and I just hit a few laps in there because it's like the perfect little like road track or whatever. And it's just nice and shaded, so it's like even though it was 98-degree weather, I was still able to get it in because I'm like, as long as I can be in the shaded area, I could run no matter what the weather was. But will I tell you, that run was tough because it was so hot. It was great though because yeah, it was still great. I'm still glad I got it done. Yeah, like I guess that's all I was really coming on here to say is like, you know, there's a lot of times where like things could be going wrong. Like for example, things are not super perfect in my life right now. Like being in between jobs, like I could just be in that bed all day and just be depressed, but instead I choose to do something that betters myself. Like, okay, you know, because you know what they say take control over what you have control over. Like you don't have control over everything. I was not in control of my last job just closing down because they weren't making enough money. Like I'm not gonna freak out and like, or I've done it before, I've done it in the past, but I'm not gonna freak out and like worry and kill myself over something I have no control over. I just realized, especially when it comes to stress, like it doesn't make sense stressing yourself out about something you have no control over. Oh, also for example, the other day I went to go to the the post office to get my passport renewed. I already had my passport photo taken. I filled out the DS11 form. If anybody, if you know the form you need to freaking like renew your passport. And I set my appointment. I went that day, and mind you, this place that I went to, they didn't really have clear parking for the UPS place. There was like 3 different it was like a weird back road situation. I don't know how to explain it, but living in South Florida, if you know, you know. Usually a lot of places like that where it's like only parallel parking or like these weird parking. There's tollway zones everywhere, but there was no pay to park. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here no more than like what, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Like let me just. So I parked where I did see there was a tollway zone, but it was in a plaza with business. I'm like, I don't really know where else to park. I didn't see that there was actually like parking on the side of the whatever, right? And usually I haven't had my car has not been towed since I was in college in like 2021, but it was towed from my apartment, so I didn't have to pay that time. But I've literally never been towed before. But when I tell you, I don't have a job right now. I'm surviving off my last paycheck in delivery driving right now, right? I go to get my US passport renewed, right? It costs $167. Don't ask me why I'm doing that right now. It's because I needed to get that done and I wanted to become a flight attendant. Actually, that same day, because I reapplied for the airline that I've been trying to get a job at for the freaking longest time, literally stopped smoking cannabis and everything because I'm like, okay, I need to like make sure I'm sober for this because this, I know it's like it's considered a federal kind of job where they're gonna randomly drug test you. So I was like, you know, okay, time to get off the ganja again. Like, so again, and I'm still sober, but this day, what was it? This past Tuesday, it's Thursday right now, so this was 2 days ago. Literally, I go in there, I drop $167 for the stupid ass passport renewal, right? Barely have any money to begin with. I walk out, literally, I parked at 11:52 a.m. I get inside there, I was waiting in line. I finally got up to the guy to do all my stuff at 11:09 a.m. I come outside, I don't even know what time it was, but I just know when I finally got my car back, it said that they basically, I guess, submitted everything by 11:25. When I tell you, I finally got my car back, and it was like not even like the afternoon. It wasn't even 12 p.m. I looked at my phone as I was driving home away from the tow place. It was 11:50. They towed my car within the span. My car was towed, and I got it back within a span of within an hour, which is ridiculous because it was a very predatory towing kind of situation. I felt it was just very predatory because I've never been in a situation like that. Like, and I'm not one to like not pay or not park properly, but I had an appointment. I needed to make it on time. Okay, sorry for the cutoff, but my phone literally stopped recording because I ran out of space, so I had to go delete some stuff and delete some apps once again. So yeah, my car gets to, I walk out at my appointment. I think it had to be like 11:20 something, like 11:20, right? 11:20, I don't know, it had to like, whatever. So I see my car is gone, and I knew it was instantly gone because I literally had a double take. I was like, no way they fucking towed my car that fucking fast. Like, there's no fucking way. So I download Uber. I spend $15, including tip, on an Uber to get me to the towing place. I pay them $175 just to get my fucking car back. And while I was there, I actually saw two girls there in front of me also trying to get their car back, but apparently the car was not in the girl's name, it was in the mother's name, and the mother was in Italy. And so yeah, they did their thing, and then I finally walked up to the lady, like, to get my car, and I said what I said, like, I was like, oh yeah, I have a Kia Soul, da da da, and they're like, oh, that was your car? Oh my god, we were trying to, like, get the guy to stop and, like, not tow your car, and they had, like, coffee in their hands, like, from this business that was in the plaza, so I was like, what the fuck, wait, but then why did they tow your car? Because we're patroning the businesses in this fucking plaza, me at USPS, y'all at the coffee shop. Anyway, so I just thought that was crazy. I'm like, no way, you were at so-and-so in so-and-so city just now? And they're like, yeah, we were literally trying to stop him. The guy was so rude. So I was like, okay. So I'm not the only one. And yeah, like, obviously, that sucks. Tough shit. I'm not about to stress myself out about this. I'm negative. At this point, I think I spent $300, like, over $300 in one day. No, I definitely did. I just took a huge chunk of my money. Mind you, most of that money was supposed to go to my car payment, like, my freaking phone bill, my electricity, like, literally, that was, I think, an extra $175 plus 15, that was, like, an extra $200 I had to spend just to get my car back. Like, it was insane. Like, it was just an unexpected expense, just like that. And I could have let that ruin my day, but that same day was the day I actually went to this local run club because my friend invited me to go with him because he's been doing it for like 2 months now, and he told me about it a while ago, but I had just started running since January, being consistent with that, and like I finally have gotten to the point where I knew I could run and like actually keep up with people. So I could have, basically what I'm saying is, like, I could have went through that, I could have gone through my car getting towed, all of that, and I could have just came home and cried. And I think I actually did cry a little bit, but like it was kind of more like a frustrated cry, but it wasn't like a I'm gonna let this ruin my day cry. Like, if you know, you know, like sometimes just crying, even if you're like, it's not like life ruining, but crying still makes you feel better. That was kind of the vibe for me. And you know, after that, like, I just kind of moved on with my day. Like, it sucked, but it was like, again, how was I supposed to control that? Yes, I parked in a towaway zone, but it was like, where the fuck else was I supposed to park? It was very predatory. Some places in South Florida, I just feel like, have very predatory towing practices, and it just is what it is. And, you know, I feel like I wouldn't have been in that predicament if I didn't have an appointment I didn't want to miss, you know? And you could just take it on the chin, like, there's really not much I could do, but I could have, in that moment, been like, oh, fuck this, like, I don't want to go to the thing anymore. But honestly, after going through that, that made me feel like I just wanted to go to the thing that much more, because I'm like, too many things have gone wrong in my day. I need at least one win today. My one win was going to that run club and running with my friend, having fun, being in this community with a whole bunch of young, hot, fit people that like looked so in shape and were running. And I did not come in dead last. That's all that mattered to me. I did not come in dead last, and it was only a 21-minute run. Like, I tracked it, and it was like one of the fastest times I'd done in a while, but it was also because it was later in the day. But it was super humid. It was still like 86 degrees, humid as fuck outside. The sun was not really out, which was great. I'm used to running like midday, so. And we also ran up, I think it was like 800 feet of, no, not 800. It was like hundreds of feet of elevation during that run, because we ran up a big bridge and then ran up the bridge again on the other side. It was crazy. But, you know, I was so happy that I did it, and me and my friend, you know, we hung out, we had a great time doing that. And I think I'm gonna go back next Tuesday. But yeah, like, I guess I say a lot to say too. Like, I really could have just let that ruin my day. And one thing I am grateful for, at least with my mindset, is that, you know, I know that my life might not be perfect. I might not be making the most money right now. I might not even be the most coolest, socially popular person or whatever. But it's like, I'm not gonna let that, like, make me give up on my life. Because the day you give up and the day you stop trying is the day you actually fail. You don't fail until you stop trying. So it's like, yeah, I might not be where I thought I would be at 25 years old in terms of, like, financially and, like, success-wise, I guess. But I can recognize where I do show up for myself and be happy about that and know that things can still change. If you believe that things can still change and this is not the end for you, then it'll never be the end for you. You are what you make it. And again, I just try not to, like, resonate too much with, like, what's going on around me. And of course, I have my bad days. We all do. And I also allow that, and I allow myself to rest in that and feel my feelings. Like, that's why I still cried. But it's like, also, like, I'm not gonna let that overpower my day. I told my friend about it, you know, but it was like, at that point, hours have gone by. That was earlier today. I just finished the run. Like, at that point, your mind is like, oh, I'm here with these people. They had a food truck. They had complimentary massages. People were stretching out afterwards. It was like a whole little vibe. So it's like, yeah, like, I could have let that ruin my whole entire day, but instead now, hours later, I'm standing here post-run super sweaty with my friend, enjoying, having a blast, connecting with people, you know. And you just kind of take a step back from those things. Like, you can really just take yourself out of those negative things if you allow yourself, even if things aren't going perfect. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say other than that. Like, I guess I just wanted to say, like, for anybody who feels like they have no reason to keep going, or, like, things, like, you just keep getting kicked down. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention when my freaking camera got cut off. Also, right before I went to the USPS to get my passport renewed, mind you, the only reason why I was getting my passport renewed was because I wanted to become a flight attendant. I found out I wasn't selected for the second time in a row. And mind you, you have to wait 6 months in between to apply. This is my second time waiting at least 6 months. I applied last September 2025, and then I just applied now in June. And I still, and mind you, this time I had a personal referral. Like, I got an email that was like, hey, you've been referred from XYZ, because I have a family friend. That's why I was thinking, oh, it's in the bag, because last time I didn't even go through a referral. And mind you, like, I put my application, and then I also, you do this, like, personality test kind of thing. And last time I passed through that, and I got through it through flying colors, and I was able to get to the point where I was able to do the little assessment, like the fake assessment they do, like, oh, like, when they talk about, I guess, flight attendant scenarios. So I was thinking that I was going to pass it again because I know my answers didn't change that much, but for some reason, I didn't get selected. And, you know, I kind of thought, well, you know, Spirit Airlines, I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you keep up with the news, they shut down. They no longer exist. I feel like they've been a meme for years now on social media about how, like, it's like the most ghetto airline. But girl, I rode that ghetto airline. Like, when you're trying to just get to point A to point B, that's when you take Spirit, right? They're gone. So I was kind of thinking, I remember thinking, like, when that first happened, like, oh, well, now it really doesn't make sense for me to try to reapply to Delta again. That's the airline I was trying to go for. Because all those flight attendants, they're probably going to be looking for a job real bad. And I bet they would probably pick them over someone who doesn't have the experience at all, right? That's what I was telling myself, which is dumb. And then I applied anyway, because, like, you know what? You don't know until you try. Like, at least I tried, but imagine getting that email right before you go to your appointment to get your passport renewed and spend $167 just to find out you don't even fucking really need that shit right now, because I don't plan to go out the country. But it is good to have. Like, I do want to have it just in case, let's say I do come up on money. Let's say I do come up on a trip I need to get out the country. I have my passport, I can go. So, I mean, it wasn't just for, you know, it wasn't, well, I mainly was renewing it for that because my passport expired back when I was in college, and I just wasn't worried about it because I wasn't even traveling like that for real. The last time I was out the country, I was like 16 when I went to Germany with my grandmother, because she has a family friend out there that recently passed away in the past, like the last year or two. Rest in peace. Literally, she was like my aunt. Every year I would remember, I'd be like, my grandmother would tell me, I'd be like jumping for joy because the Germans were coming, and they would spend, it was like such a cool thing. It would be my grandmother would go spend a summer out there, and then every other year they would alternate. So they would come, the Germans would come to down here, and then my grandmother would go out there. And I just remember, like, when I was growing up, I would just beg her to freaking take me. And so when I turned 16, she finally did take me, and I stayed out at my aunt's aunt. I call her my aunt because she's known me since I was like born. Like, I think she was there that, like, the day I was born. Like, she came to the hospital. Yeah, she took me and we stayed at her flat out there. It was, the closest city it was next to, if anybody knows this, was Friedrichshafen, but we were out in the country. I forgot exactly where we were, but it was really cool. We actually went to Friedrichshafen, and it was nice. I spent like 2 whole weeks out there. It was awesome. But anyway, yeah, haven't been back. And when my passport expired, I was like, I don't give a fuck, I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, so you had to know how that had felt. Like, obviously I'm not upset about it today, but Tuesday, when I had found that out, I was already pretty upset about that. And then I paid the $167 for my passport. And then I walk outside after I finally got that done, after putting off my passport for so long because I never had the money for it. And technically, I could have used that money towards so many other things. But I did it because, like, I'm sick of, like, putting this off. Like, I just want to get it done. just to come out, just to see that my car is gone and that I had to pay an additional $200 on top of that. It was a horrible, it could have been a horrible day. I can't even say it was a horrible day, because then at the end of that day, I was on a high from just doing that run and spending time getting out there and being around all these people and being social, you know? And yeah, I guess at this point, going through all the things I've gone through, from like graduating college, moving back down from college, because I graduated fall 2022, and then July 2023, basically I stayed in my college town for about a year, and I was just like delivering and trying to find my big girl job out of college, and I was trying to go for graphic design. Couldn't get hired because I didn't have any internships. I didn't really have a lot of guidance in college. My mom didn't go to school, and my dad did go to school, but he didn't use his degree. He's been working for Comcast for like 25 plus years now. And he was like a DJ when he was like my age, like a Jamaican DJ, very like prominent DJ, and had his own, like, he was just not like, he got his communications degree, and he just kind of was like, okay, I'm educated now, but back then, like, you could still like, you know, get a job that's not related to your degree and just like, you know, work your way up. And that's exactly what my dad did, right? But also me and my dad, I don't know, he's never been that type to like, I mean, he was obviously there for me for college. I mean, I remember I was gonna drop out, and he was the one who told me, pick any major, just don't drop out. And then that's when I picked art. Right, at all of it. That's what I'm saying, like, I didn't really have much guidance, I feel. But I am grateful for at least being able to have a scholarship to go to school. So even though I feel like I kind of wasted the opportunity I had, actually, I can't say that. You're not supposed to have any regrets. Even though I wish I could have did school a little bit different, you know, I did it. It was what it was. And by the time I was like I said, I graduated. It took me a year to find a big girl job, and the closest thing I was able to get to was media planning, which was still in the advertising field, where usually ad agencies will hire graphic designers, but I was just on the analytics side of everything. And you know, I did that, and it was actually not too bad for me, because I was a math major up until my sophomore year, and I went all the way up to calculus 2. So you probably wouldn't tell it by looking at me, but I'm kind of smart, you know? Not kind of. I feel like I could say I'm smart, you know? I'm pretty, I'm decent, right? I mean, not smart enough to get out of my situation that I'm in right now, not yet, but... Because I also realized that too, just because you're book smart does not mean that that's going to equivalent to riches in life. That's like the biggest scam ever, thinking just because you do well in school. Like I was told my whole life, if you do well in school, you'll be fine in life because you did good in school. Nope, turns out the people who were skipping school and like didn't really give a fuck about school are now like one of the rich people of the rich adults of today. And I'm not saying that can't be me, and I don't, like, because you can get rich at any age. You can finally make it at any age. But the fact that like I thought, you know, being book smart was gonna be what took me, and then it didn't. It's just very jarring to like, you know, you have a life that you picture for yourself, and you know, I'm like now in my mid-20s. I'm now like too old to be considered like young. Like when young people hear my age, young people, I'm technically young, but like people when like, for example, at my job, like people honestly, I'm not gonna lie, no flex, I'm not even trying to flex, people, I still get asked if I'm even 18, if I'm even over 18, especially like when weird old creepy men try to hit on me, which is kind of concerning. But I did have that question asked to me within the past 7 days, so I know I don't look old, but then I just know when I finally tell a person younger than me my age, for some reason they give me this shocked ass look like I'm ancient. They're like, oh, you're 25? 2000, baby? Wow, you look so young. How did you not age yet? And it's like, well, girl, you know, you don't really age that much from like, I mean, or not my genes. Black don't crack, baby. Anyway, okay, this is going over a bit, but yeah, what am I saying right now? Oh yeah, you know, I'm not exactly where I thought I would be at this moment, but, you know, you gotta be grateful for what you do have, which I am grateful that I even got the opportunity to move out and live on my own, even though it was so hard. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I was talking about my job. Sorry, I think I'm not diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have ADD, ADHD, whatever the hell. I definitely have OCD and anxiety. 100% I have that. I know I have anxiety, which stems... Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah, so, you know, working in advertising in the analytical space, I did that for a while hating my life, working a 9-to-5 at a desk job, and then I gained a whole bunch of fucking, you know, the corporate weight that you gain from being sedentary, and then also hating my life, and then also just feeling like I just was losing my creative self. Like, honestly, like, when I tell you, and then after, like, leaving my first job that I got for an ad agency, it was a small company, it was fully remote, honestly paying me way more than I think I deserve. Not deserve, but paying me pretty decent for somebody who didn't know anything and that they were training to like get to that point. But I ended up leaving 9 months in because they put me on a PIP, which is a performance enhancing improvement plan. Something, it's like a performance thing where like they're tracking your performance and they're basically saying, hey, we don't think you're doing that good, and if you don't straighten up, we'll probably fire you. We have the right to fire you in the next 30 days. So instead of sitting, like, I already was feeling like I wasn't even supported at that role. I felt like my higher up, who was even supposed to be my leader and my mentor, hated me. For some reason, she acted like I was an idiot. She did not like me. So it was just a really, and no one was my age there. I think there was like a couple of people my age that were also assistant media planners, but like didn't really relate to anybody. Like, I don't know, it was like very weird. Not weird, but it was a small company doing great, but like I also didn't, compared to the next job that I got, like after finding out I had that PIP, literally within that 30 days, I found another job. Because like, I Googled it and it was saying like, oh, they typically fire, like that's just like a means to fire you. So I don't know if they were going to fire me or not, but I actually ended up finding out after I found out the job that they were just going to switch me so I could work under somebody else instead of her, the person that was under, and I feel like they probably would have kept me, right? But because I was just so scared of losing my job, I ended up just going to another job that was in office, and that was even worse, and the company sucked even more. It was even worse than the company I was at. I should have just stayed there, but I didn't. And then I stayed there for 9 months. They hated my guts. One of the directors hated me. He did not like me. Maybe not hate. Hate's a strong word, but he definitely did not like me, and he made it very obvious. And then I remember I was even pulled in by the VP, the vice president of our field, because in the ad agency there was like the creative department, there was the financial department where they handled billing and all that stuff, and they had like the ad ops, which is like the computer technical engineers, and then they had media planning, which is the one I was in. The VP for media planning literally pulled me in her office after the director that I was working under already did this. He pulled me in and he goes, yeah, I saw that you had an art degree, and like basically saying like, we don't think you belong here and we know about your past almost. And it was just like, that shouldn't matter, because I thought like you don't technically even need a degree to like work in the business I was working in. But after he had that conversation with me, I was pulled in, and the VP literally, she was so nasty about it, like so nice, nasty, talking about, oh yeah, I know about your art degree, and like, not like, this is not a place, an environment meant for everybody. And honestly, looking back, she was right, but I just didn't like the fact that she was basically telling me, we don't think you belong here, and you're probably not gonna last long. And that's exactly what happened. And I remember that year, it was a horrible year. I was crying nearly every day going to work, so depressed, crying to my boyfriend at the time, and like just hating my life. It was actually horrible, because I felt like no matter what I did at that job, like they were already trying to push me out, just like how I felt like at the previous job. So I just, basically all of my like adult working life was horrible at this point. And mind you, by the time I got the second job, I got a pay increase, and I talked about that here. I went from making 40K to 47K, and I thought I was that bitch. So once I figured out that they were trying to push me out, especially I feel like knowing all these things about me, mind you too, I didn't even mention this, I was the only black girl on that whole entire floor. That whole entire floor, I was the only black girl. So, not that, I'm fine with being the token sometimes, like, as long as, like, it's not really, I'm not intentionally made the token, but that was very much, like, DEI, you're here for DEI, babes. And then, Trump got in office, and now that's gone. That's really gone. But honestly, I don't want to be anywhere that feels like they're only hiring somebody over a DEI. I'd rather just someone want to hire someone for their skills, and they don't really care about what you look like or where you come from, So there was just imagine, I was going through that from July 2023 when I first got hired at the first agency up until January 2025 when I got fired. So I really felt like I was getting kicked in the ass. And then 2025, now it's 2026, onward, I've been going job after job. Literally, also same thing happened when I was working at that boutique hotel. It was honestly not that bad, but I felt like, again, there was some prejudice involved, and I hate to chop it all up to that, but I feel like I was like, I don't know, I just feel like I've just had a streak of bad runs, and there were other jobs in between that weren't bad. Like recently when I started working back in retail, it's been a pretty positive experience, no discrimination there, just not really good pay, But I was a lot less stressed, a lot better. But again, I'm stressed because I can't pay my bills, and I'm working these jobs, and people judge you. You're 25, you have a college degree, and you're working at the mall, and you're working nonstop, but you can't even, you still have to reach out to people and ask for help, or just be behind in your bills, freaking out whether or not something's gonna happen to you because you don't know how you're gonna pay your next bill. Like, that's been my life since 2023. Yeah, I mean, when I first moved, and then when I moved back home, I didn't even mention, before I was here, I was living with my mother, and I already told you, I asked to move back, or maybe you don't remember this, but I asked to move back in with her in December, and she told me no. So imagine what it was like when I was actually living there if she told me no to move back. She did not want me there. So it was like, it's just been a shit show all around, babes. It's been a shit show all around. But despite all of that, I guess I say all of that to let you guys know what I've been through. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still talking to you. I'm still thinking that there's still hope. And I'm not giving up on my life. Like, I keep telling myself, one day I'm gonna look back at this and laugh. One day I'm gonna look back at this and be like, oh yeah, I see why I went through that. Even though I have no fucking clue and it feels like it's never ending. I'm gonna keep pushing through. But, okay, I'm going way over time, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully, maybe this helps somebody. Maybe somebody can just at least relate to me. I feel like I can't be the only one going through this. I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, but I'd love anybody who has watched this. Comment below if you have any thoughts to share, if you relate. But, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go.